So, hi, and welcome to the Libraries Serve Refugees Airtable training video. For those of you who have absolutely no idea what Airtable is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Airtable is a web-based software that allows you to create and populate a database. So it can be used for anything from wedding planning to planning a conference, like I use it, to something like this, where we're collecting information and we want to keep it organized. We're using Airtable because it allows for a wide variety of data types. So we can have checkboxes and drop-down menus and multiple selects and things like that, and it'll just make it easier. And those fields can be cross-referenced between tables, which makes it easier later on as well. So some basic Airtable information. Each database in Airtable is called a base. So it's like a single database. It's kind of like a workbook in Excel, but with different fields in them. Within that base, you'll have tables. In our use case, we have two tables, the Refugee Resources Workflow table and the Volunteer table. The resources that you will be collecting, editing, and tagging will all be collected in the Workflow table. Views are different ways to look at the table, to look at the data. So you can save your own views, meaning you can have unique settings for column and row order, hidden columns, and filters. Please be careful with these, because if you mess around with them a bit too much, you might screw up what other people are looking at. So you want to pretty much stick to the main view, and when you're entering data, make sure you're entering it in the main view. Fields are the database equivalent of a spreadsheet column. So you might have a field for a name or a date or a website. Unlike in spreadsheets, each Airtable field can have a special field type for different types of rich content, like uploading images or files. In our case, when you're entering information, you'll be prompted to enter it in the correct format, so it should be pretty easy. And then each row in the database is called a record. You can enter it in the spreadsheet format, or you can pop them open, but they're basically an item in the list. Got it? Yay, awesome. So I'm going to quickly walk you through how we're using Airtable with my screen sharing.
So, when you get into the Airtable base, the first thing you're going to see is the Refugee Resources Workflow table. This can either be looked at as rows, or you can expand the record and you can look at it this way, which will give you a little bit more space to work on your specific record. Each of the fields has a different type. In this one is a web address, and the abstract is paragraph, categories, and tags are single and multiple select. For dates, it's just like a calendar picker. And then for the researcher, you click on that and it pulls from the volunteers table. When you're done with your research or copy editing, you check off the checkbox to show that you're done so the next person can work on their part of it. And then at the end, the web admin will add the date entered on the site. The volunteer table will show you all of your colleagues and also the resources you've assigned to yourself for each role and the categories you've been assigned to work on.
So that's pretty much it. Don't feel shy about hopping in, creating, editing, and tagging records. You all have the job descriptions and workflows for the various roles in Slack. And if you need more help learning Airtable, I will include a link to Airtable support in the comments below here on YouTube. Please jump in, make sure you're claiming records when you start working on them. It is incredibly important. And I'll see you in the database. Bye.